Hey there, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is toxic liberalism. I have noticed, and many have noticed through the annals of time, I'm not special in noticing it, I've just noticed it too. Good point, fellas. Good point, people. That the polarities tend to really flip here at Earth School. An example would be in ancient Egypt, 𝐬𝐮 was a masculine principle, and 𝐬𝐮 was god of the earth. And 𝐬𝐮 rested on his back and had his arms and feet in the air. And Nut, the sky goddess, the feminine principle, had her arms and legs. She was in an arch U shape. And so 𝐬𝐮 and Nut met. But the earth was seen as a masculine principle, and the sky was seen as a feminine principle. In the modern age, we have many, self-included, that will often refer to sky as sky father, and earth as earth mother, Pachamama, mother Gaia, sacred Gaia. And so we can see in a realm of duality that coin tends to be flipping, and we tend to flip out, man. We're flipping out. We tend to rotate on these axes that we're on here. And one of the things that I've talked about historically, and I've got videos in YouTube you can dig through. I've done videos on toxic femininity because we talk a lot about toxic masculinity, and a plug goes into a socket. If we have toxic masculinity, that is fed through toxic femininity. If you're overly willing to receive any kind of XYZ behavior, if you don't have good boundaries, if you're not using strategy, if you're not using the cold masculine principle of intellect, and you overly reflect into your emotional intelligence and your empathy in a way in which you become open to receive toxicity because you don't set boundaries, then you may be in a toxic feminine expression. And I feel like the concept of being a liberal in mindset in the modern age is in a toxic feminine expression of sorts, if you will. Could be toxic masculine. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit of both. And so I'm not here ever to judge. I'm not here to attack. Heather Feather's role, always remind her of it all the time. Guess what, little kitten? You're not here to judge. That's a fool's errand. Every spiritual teaching I've ever studied always points back to it's not about judging that which is outside of you. It's about stewarding the being that you're actually stewarding in the realm. So when you hear the term toxic liberalism, if you identify as liberal, which I do even though I'm apolitical, I identify as liberal in mindset. Liberal simply means being open to that which does not agree with your perspectives, your beliefs, and your values. You're open. Conservative viewpoint tends to be traditional. It tends to be less open to perspectives outside of its own. And in the modern age, I'm experiencing a lot of conversation around expectation that we should all be in the same mindset when it comes to liberal viewpoints. Everybody should be evolved. Let's go. I'm evolved. You get evolved, And it's tricky. That's a tricky thing to do. Because if you're saying, I want you to honor me for my labels, for my identity, for the being that I am, for my choices, then it's a really powerful teaching that's offered in this realm to practice what you preach, to walk the talk. And one of the ways you walk the talk is you let others be in their labels, be in their perspectives, be in their ideas of their value system, and to not require it to be the same as yours. A traditional, more conservatistic mindset tends to say, there is a proper way to be, and that is the way to be. A liberal or more open mindset tends to say there are many ways of being. May we honor all the ways of being. I'm seeing a lot in the modern age. It's like you can't be transphobic. You can't be homophobic. It's like, okay, actually you can be a serial killer, cannibal rapist. Say it all the time. Because there have always been killers throughout the annals of time since the dawn of time. There have always been rapists. There have always been cannibals. There have always been, and so I'm not actually advocating either conservative or liberal as being an evolved mind state. I think anytime we get into polarities and we get into divisiveness of polarities, we are trapped in duality and trapped in the ego. And on what I'm walking, the path that I'm walking, or what I conceive to be the medicine person path or the shamanic path, is to walk the rim of that coin. To be in a state of observation, not to be in a state of degradation to that which does not align with your side of the coin, to truly be in a liberal mindset, which means accepting traditional mindsets. I don't need you to agree with me. You know what I mean? I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to live my life the way I'm going to live it. And I don't need you to be me. The role is taken, Heather Feather often says. So I'm just wanting to highlight that, having what one would consider to be a liberal mindset means that you are literally open, receptive, allowing that which does not agree with you, that which is not you, that which does not match your beliefs, that which does not match your matrix. And so often Heather Feather has asked in this life for others to offer what I'm not giving. There's a teaching here at our school that says, give what you came to get. You want friendship? Be friendlier. You want relationship? Be relational. Heather constantly craves deeply intimate romantic relationship. And it's because I'm a hermit isolator. I love to isolate. There are cafes that I go into and they're like, we haven't seen you in here in 5 months. And it's like, I've been hiding like a hermit. I would love to be in a relationship, but I've been busy hiding for 5 months. Fun. It's like, you want a relationship? Be more relational. Get out and relate to people. Connect. Communicate. Be vulnerable. Be willing to share yourself with the world, So this is a powerful teaching I received from some of my mentors here at Earth School, is to be very attentive to make sure that what you're asking to have in the field, make sure that's what you're offering in the field. If you want to be honored for who you be, are you honoring those that don't agree with who you be? If you're saying, hey, honor me even though you don't agree with me, are you honoring those that don't agree with you, And I want to talk about this topic because I'm Heather's never looking to convert anyone. Love it. I love the diversity of the garden. I'm so glad we have divergent perspective. I don't think we came down here to sing Kumbaya and all hold the same perspective. If so, we'd only have a garden of rose. We wouldn't have the daisy, the bird of paradise, we have diverse flowers, diverse types of grass, diverse clouds, diverse types of money, diverse languages, diverse cultural expressions, diverse irises, It's like, so this is a realm of great diversity. And my mom used to have an image. She loved butterflies. She specifically the monarch, but even though she loved monarchs, she had an image that said celebrate diversity, and it had all these different types of butterflies on it. So she loves the monarch, but she wanted to her consciousness was around celebrating diversity, that diversity of what we be. And there may be things that I don't like. I don't listen to a lot of modern country. I don't like a lot of pop songs. I don't usually like Disney music. I'm not superior in that. Let me tell you what. And anytime I start to get into, there was a period where I was like, I'm tired of hearing this Disney music. It was playing a lot at a certain period of my life. Just happened because I was having resistance to it. There's another teaching that says what you resist persists. So I was having resistance, and it was persisting in my field because what you put your attention on grows. So I had my attention on this Disney music is making me crazy. And at the time they were coming out with all these Disney movies. Well, at that period of my life, I wound up working at a gourmet pie shop surrounded by women that all love Disney music. They all had beautiful singing voices, and they all were singing Disney music. They'd be like, let's sing Disney music as we close the pie shop. And what was interesting is that I really, really loved the people that I worked with. They were beautiful, magical, sacred creatures. And so it caused me to have a reframe on, why am I taking this hard, there are children everywhere that are like, oh, this Disney song, and I love kids. Why am I taking this really hard stance on, this isn't for me? Doesn't mean I went and put a bunch of Disney music in my phone, but I feel like Spirit gave me the opportunity to drop the idea that I'm ever right about anything in the living tree that I want to discern as being like, I don't like that. That shouldn't exist. I don't ever want to have to hear that again. It's like, okay, good. We're going to have you listen to it every night. How about that? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And it did. It helped me. I don't hold Disney music in the same light. You know what I mean? That sing song always sounds the same to me. I don't hold that and go it doesn't activate some neurodivergent irritation in me. I just go, okay, we're doing this vibe right now because I'm watching this movie because my friend wanted to see it, and I don't have to be attached to can we skip through the songs, or whatever. So this is in some ways about dropping judgment, because I'm not here to call you toxic. It's just the point I'm trying to reflect upon is, do you identify as being liberal? And if you do, are you being truly open to those that don't agree with you, which is what liberal is defined. I mean, you look it up. The definition is being open to beliefs and perspectives that you don't actually hold. And so I try to be careful with my labeling, because the labels come up from the ego. All labels, to me, come from the ego. The function of, what is the function and the purpose of the ego? The function and purpose of the ego is to label things. That is a bear, slowly back away. Get large in your presence as you slowly back away, or whatever it is. Like that is a bush. You can proceed forward. That is fire. It is hot. You can warm yourself near it. Don't stick your body in it, The job of the ego is to label things, to discern. That is a street. Look both ways before you cross it. And I feel that it's gotten into a more toxic state as it tends to judge. That is a not me. That is bad. It should think like I do. And so it's like, well, okay. But the reality is spirit allows it to exist. So why don't you? Life is allowing that to exist. Life allows for the cherry blossom as much as it allows for the oak or the weeping willow. And so why is it that we can feel at times like everything should agree with me? Everything should agree with me. It's like, I think possibly that may come from the ego. Cool. Not here to judge the ego, not here to attack the ego. We all have an ego. So it's clearly part of the matrix. It's clearly part of what is needed. I had a teacher share with me once, because I was, studying a lot of Eastern philosophy and was getting all into annihilate the ego. And this beautiful teacher here in Albuquerque I went to this special meetup, and he was like, Heather, the aim is not to annihilate the ego. The ego is where your self-esteem comes from. The ego is the one that's going to label things and help you move through this realm that you chose to be in. So the ego does serve a purpose. There's a reason it's in your matrix and design. The question is it doing the work that it came to do in the paradigm? Or have you given it your temple chair, and is it being the little dictator boss down here that's walking around going, not me, not good, not me, not good? Hey, you don't have to be me. The role is taken. Let me receive you as you be you, so that I can discern what I value. And it's easy to do when I have the contrast of not me in front of me. I have dear friends that do not hold the philosophy that I do. And I'm blessed with this opportunity to have Christian as a roommate and friend in my life before he goes to the Vedantic Center in Washington and moves into his sacred soul tribe and his sacred collective, because we do often, usually daily, have very spiritual conversations. We met up in a cafe today, and we were having a talk, and he was talking about kind of my multidimensional, multiversal nature. And he's like, right now, Heather, we're having a coffee in a cafe. And I was like, are we? We're made of emptiness. Are we here? Are you sure we're just having a coffee in a cafe? If time and space are delusion, and they must be because I've only ever been here now, is it viable that all my past and future lives are occurring alongside this, and I'm doing so much more than having a coffee in a cafe? And so I'm a little frustrating to talk to sometimes. I can be a little frustrating to talk to sometimes. I'm like nailing Jell-O to a wall. And it's hard for me to get out of this perspective. I was reading Illusions when I was a teenager, which talks about the illusory nature, the holographic matrix, if you will, is a modern day way I would say that, of this world. And he's helping me to witness how often I don't step out of the perspective I have held for decades. And when am I able to, even though I'm constantly thinking about, I'm quantum jumping through infinite multiverses right now, when am I able to stabilize into an experience? Can I smell the coffee, be present with the coffee, be present with the room, be present with the hologram, And it's like, cannot do that. I'm asking you today, are there any ways in which you've labeled yourself, and are those labels true? Are they true? Are the labels you've chosen to hold true of you? Are you the true definition of those terms? And are there any you'd like to drop? To me, because I'm made of emptiness, would love to drop a lot of labels. I do consider myself deeply liberal, and I want to be really cautious about that, because there are ways I may have more conservative viewpoints. We should conserve our water, let's say, for example. So who are you, and how are you labeling self? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. Amun.